I call the meeting of the San Juan Unified Board of Education to order. The meeting is being audio and video recorded, and the recording may capture sounds and images of those attending this meeting. The recording will be posted on the district's website. Board meetings are being held in person in the boardroom at the district office, and the community is welcome to attend. The meeting may also be viewed on the district's YouTube channel where it's being live streamed. Please stand for the presentation of colors by the Castle Robles Fundamental High School Air Force Junior ROTC.
Color guard, hold. Ready. Haste. Haste. Form, color guard. Ready, haste. Present, arms. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag order, arms. Ready, haste. Forward, march.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Zima Creason, Board President. To my left is Ms. Pam Costa, Board Vice President. To her left is Mr. Saul Hernandez, Board Clerk. And to his left is Mr. Ben Avey, Ms. Paula Viesquez, and Ms. Tanya Kravchuk, Board members. To my right is Superintendent Melissa Bassinelli, and to her right is Board Administrative Assistant Stephanie Cunningham. Individuals who are attending the meeting in person and would like to offer a public comment, we ask that you complete a speaker request card available at the staff table, and you will be called on at the appropriate time during the agenda. Please note that Board Bylaw 9323 limits visitor comments to 2 minutes per speaker with no more than 30 minutes per single topic. The time will be extended for any speaker who uses an interpreter. Please note that public comments, including your name, become a part of the public record. We are now at item B, approval of the minutes. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the minutes for September 12th?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Viesquez. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Kravchuk. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That was unanimous.
Yeah.
I do that to you every time. I am so sorry. Rolling it back one more time. So no ayes, no nos. Is there any abstentions?
I abstain.
Ms. Costa abstains. And so the motion passes 5-1. We are now at item C1, recognition of the week of the school administrator. Dr. Toto.
Good evening. Good evening,
Maybe push a button.
Stephanie, you said it's on. One more time. Hello? Okay, there
yep.
we go. I just need to bend down. I'm too tall. Sorry. Good evening, President Creason, board members, Superintendent Bassinelli, and Ms. Cunningham. Maybe I'll lift it up to me. How's that? Is that
Yep.
better? Got it. All right. I'm here tonight to present the superintendent's recommendation that the governing board adopt resolution number A430 proclaiming the week of October 8th through the 14th of 2023 as the week of school administrator. Our administrators are recognized for their dedication and their outstanding work to perform on the behalf of our students, staff, and the community. They provide amazing learning environments, supporting quality instruction in our classrooms while advocating, encouraging, and assisting our students. Tonight, I'm pleased to have Damon Smith, President of San Juan Professional Educators Coalition, and Chris Moran, President of San Juan Administrators Association, here to accept this resolution and personally thank the board for the support of our school administrators.
Yes, thank you very much for this.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate it.
They're very long-winded, as you can tell. We do appreciate all of our school administrators. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments, questions from the board? Ms. Viesquez?
I just want to say, don't let the brevity fool you for the importance or have any correlation to the significance that the administrators play on our campuses every single day, but even beyond our campuses. I know when we think administrators, I often think site leaders, but it's really inclusive of a number of district leaders. But I will speak specifically to our site leaders because they really do determine the leadership at a campus. And oftentimes they're not just the principal, they're the VP and they're the counselor and they're the attendance monitor and they wear a lot of different hats. So I just want to take an opportunity to extend a longer thank you for everything that you all do every day.
Ms. Costa?
It just doesn't want to stay on for me. I also would like to add my thanks for all the administrators. What I have seen as I've been out at schools is how hard you're working and how many things we're asking you to do. And you do it with grace and ease and a willingness to serve, but does not go unrecognized. Really an amazing job for each of our administrators in San Juan. Thank you so much. And if there aren't any other comments, I'd like to move.
I think Superintendent Bassanelli, but you called dibs. Noted.
Yeah, I just wanted to express my appreciation. As I look in the audience, we've got Principal Smith. We also have Principal Peterson and Principal Levis, as well as the rest of our administrators who are central office. And it is not lost on me the effort that you do each and every day to go above and beyond on behalf of every single student that we have. And so I want to say from the bottom of my heart, as well as from the heart of Cabinet, because I know Cabinet shares the sentiment, thank you what you do each and every day for our schools, for our students, for our staff, and our community. You are quite possibly the most important player we have in our schools, second to the teacher. And I just am very grateful for you. So I wanted to just double emphasize, we've got lots of gratitude up here with our governance team, but we at the central office support you as well, and we're greatly appreciative for you.
Thank you. And everyone said what I'm feeling in my heart, and I'm just going to say one more time what I've said many times over the last couple of weeks that I've been in front of the administrators at all the back to school events is you manage the big people and the little people. That is one heck of a job in a district or at a school site or any organization, and you're doing great. The learning can't happen without you. So that said, a motion to adopt resolution number A430 proclaiming the week of October 8th through 14th as the week of the school administrator was moved by Ms. Costa. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Krevchuk. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That was unanimous. Okay. We are on item C2, High School Student Council Reports. Tonight, we will hear from student representatives from Mesa Verde High School and San Juan High School. Welcome, and let's begin with Isabel Villarreal and Heidi Martinez from Mesa Verde.
Good evening, President Creason, members of the board, Superintendent Bassanelli, and Ms. Cunningham. I'm Isabel Villarreal, ASB Vice President.
And I'm Heidi Martinez, ASB Rally Commissioner.
We're happy to be here on behalf of Mesa Verde High School. I'd like to begin by thanking the board for having us here tonight. We can't wait to share the accomplishments from the first month of our school.
The night before our first day back, our newest addition to our school, Lean Crew, hyped up the spirit for incoming freshmen for their orientation and parent info night. They broke out into groups, showed them around campus. On the first day of school, our seniors hosted a senior sunrise, and we had a lot more people show up than expected. We all gathered on our baseball field around 5:45 a.m. to see the sunrise, and afterwards, students went out and got breakfast in groups and returned to school excited for the last first day. This year, unfortunately, us seniors couldn't paint parking spots due to our brand new parking lot being constructed.
Our back to school rally was on the second day of school and it was a success. We experienced some setbacks, but we had some backup plans in place, so nobody noticed. We're that good. Over the summer, some of our student government members came in to organize and create posters. The students actively participated in all of our games, specifically the freshmen.
Sports are in motion. The season for girls volleyball only got underway last month. Throughout practice, our girls worked really hard. We're eager to see what their season will have to offer. Even though we didn't win, KCR3 and ABC 10 covered our first ever girls flag football game against Del Campo High School. The season for our girls basketball has just begun. Soon, our Lady Mavs will be prepared to play on the court. Football had their first big win on August 24th against Forest Hill. Our Citrus Bowl, we took the win once again with the leading score of 82-7. With the completion of our sports stadium, our debut homecoming game will take place on Mesa Verde's new football field on October 13th. With this event is projected to sell out quickly. Make sure you get your tickets early on GoFan.
The biggest dance of the school year here at Mesa is homecoming. All of us ASB students put a lot of effort towards ensuring the happiness of our staff and students since it's very crucial. This year's homecoming theme is Wizard of Oz because there's no place like homecoming. Most of our spirit days reflect off our homecoming theme. Our spirit days will be Green and Bling, Twister Tuesday, Witch Witch's Witch, Kids in Candyland, and Construction Day. Last year, we implemented the idea of decorating our halls. With how successful it turned out, we decided to try it again given how well it went after the first time.
On September 7th, we had our club rush in which we had 11 clubs recruiting new members. We welcomed one new program, which was IYT, in which they are mentoring young men of color to improve their tomorrow. We brought back UCAN, in which they help you apply to colleges, trade schools, and the military. This year, we added 2 new academic classes to Mesa, AP Computer Science and AP Economics.
School-wide, Mesa is having a class competition on who can raise the most money. Seniors are in the lead due to our Fun Friday event we did on September 15th, which was Soak a Senior. We had seniors sign up and students around the school paid us to soak one of said seniors. It was $2 for a bucket of water and $4 for a bucket of ice water. It was a huge success, which the senior class made a total of $77. To see our great outcome of our event, you can see our TikTok video we made on our social media account.
We know this report is short and sweet, but we're looking forward to being back in November with more to report. We would like to thank the board once again. We are very excited to see you again in November or on October 13th.
Thanks so much for that report. Any comments, questions from the board? Ms. Krupchak?
Thank you for the report. I particularly enjoyed hearing about the senior sunrise. What a fun way to commemorate your last first day of school. I don't think they had that when I was at Mesa, but I will see you guys on October 13th for the stadium ribbon cutting. How historic. It's a long time coming. We were promised that, I swear. My older siblings were promised that. I was promised that, but it's finally happening. And I absolutely will be there to celebrate with you guys.
Mr. Hernandez.
So we could get on the board to make it happen, see?
Yep.
The game on October 13th, is that the very first game at the new stadium?
Yes, that's our homecoming game.
So it's the first game though? Okay, thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Well, just thank you for, you said it was short and sweet, but I thought it was a very thorough report. That's a lot going on. It hasn't been that long in school. So welcome to the space and really look forward to getting to know you and hearing all about what's going on at school. And just please know that we're a resource to you beyond, your presentation. We're here for you in any way we can be in your school community. So thank you. Next, we will hear from Charisma Jill Hernandez and Danica Piper from San Juan.
Good evening.
You got to talk right into it.
Good evening, President Creason, members of the board, Superintendent Bassanelli, and Ms. Cunningham. We are I am Christmas Joe Hernandez. I'm the ASB president.
And I am Danica Piper. I'm the rally director at San Juan.
And as the sun sets on another summer, San Juan High has swung open its doors to welcome back its students and a dedicated group of passionate directors, both returning and new to our site. 10 of our teachers are new to the school this year. Our school year is already off to an innovating start.
We welcomed our freshmen and new students through a well-attended orientation before school started, followed by a well-attended back-to-school night. Various student leaders came to be tour guides, volunteering their summer time to support their fellow students and the staff. Volleyball, football, and cross-country have been going strong, and conditioning for winter sports has begun. We have more student athletes than in recent years.
Now it's only been 6 weeks, but our student government has hit the ground running. Thursday, September 6th, we had a successful club rush, and we're looking forward to fostering more student involvement and watching our various clubs flourish. For example, we will be having a carnival in which the clubs create and operate their own booths. Student government now kicks off during 0 period, and we've also introduced a 4th period leadership class. This shifts aim to amplify our school spirit even further.
And speaking of spirit, while we might be lacking in a traditional cheer team at this point, our activities and athletic director, Coach Freddie Bryant, is trying to fill the void. He's rallying a dedicated spirit squad to ensure that San Juan's energy remains unmatched at our games. Game nights are going to be exciting. I know you will see us out there with pom-poms and San Juan merch. Our freshman year now offers a more diverse learning experience with the full return of the bakery rotation to the CTE wheel. Freshmen can now dive into 6 various areas: construction, automotive, media, culinary, baking, and wellness. A special mention to Ms. Key, who's championing our students' social and emotional learning in the wellness segment.
We are also celebrating our honor roll students with an academic honor celebration this month, as well as honoring our student athletes maintaining over a 3.0 GPA. This goes along with our push to make sure all student athletes are successful and in and off the field. We are also honoring and recognizing staff at designated athlete events. We had our first recognition at last Friday's football game, where we bestowed medals and special VIP treatment. We appreciate Superintendent Bassanelli's attendance at the game. Over the recent Labor Day weekend, we hosted a leadership retreat offered to everyone in student government. First, students retreated to the serene setting of Camp Winters in Soda Springs. Though the weather gave us unexpected rain and cold, it couldn't dampen our spirits. The retreat gave us some invaluable bonding moments, setting the tone for an untitled academic year.
Our homecoming is slated for October 6th with the dance following on the 7th. This year's theme, Around the World. The freshmen are representing Egypt, the sophomores have Mexico, the juniors are bringing France to our corridors, and we seniors are taking on Brazil. It's truly special for us, especially since it's been a while since we have had a hall decorating for homecoming. On a personal note, I'm absolutely delighted to share that Ms. Defer, a phenomenal educator who I've been fortunate to learn under for 3 consecutive years, is our new senior class advisor. Together, we're brainstorming a host of fun fundraisers, like crafting Valentine's Day goodie bags. We are keeping the excitement alive, and let's not forget our senior t-shirt design contest for the class of 24. As we inch closer, we've also set our sights on locking down the perfect venue for prom.
Lastly, an exciting piece of news. We're reviving after 50 years of absence. We are all excited for the journey to the Magic Kingdom after decades. And in conclusion, San Juan High is buzzing with enthusiasm, innovation, and activity. We're not just carrying the torch forward, we're making sure it shines brighter than ever. Thank you for your time, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Thanks for the great report. Any comments, questions from the board? Ms. Viescas.
Thank you very much for the report. A lot of really exciting things happening there in at San Juan. Congratulations on reviving the senior trip to Disney. Please keep me and probably us updated if there's anything we can help do to, to help make that a
Chaperone.
reality. You got a volunteer chaperone, but also I know that the fundraising portion takes up a lot of effort too. So I'm happy as the time gets closer to be engaged and involved in that and help share it out. I also just wanted to say I was really excited to hear about the continuation of the baking pathway there at San Juan. I know it was a big part of the school community for the longest time, and I'm just glad that that legacy is continuing to live on.
Thank you.
Mr. Avey.
Thank you. That was a fantastic report, and I can actually hear the flame burning brighter in your presentation. So well done on that. Couple things I noted in there. First off, I love the idea of the retreat to Camp Winters. I think Camp Winters is something that I don't want to say underutilized, but I think there's more opportunities for us to use that new and different ways. And I love the idea of like a student retreat to Camp Winters because that's just a great place to do it and a great opportunity. So well done. And then I would just echo my colleagues' comments on the baking cycle and career technical education. I think it's a wonderful opportunity that students at San Juan have so many different pathways that they can take if they're looking at those careers. And it's nice to see baking come back. And I think it's probably one of more of the delicious options that are available to students. So well done and enjoy.
Any other comments, questions? Again, thank you for the great report. A lot happening very early on in the school year. It's wonderful to meet you, and I look forward to getting to know you throughout the year. So thank you so much. Student voice is incredibly important to the board, and we very much appreciate you taking the time to join us tonight. We do not have any reports from staff, board-appointed district committees, employee organizations, or other district committees. So we are at item D, visitor comments. We do have visitor comments. Comments are limited to 2 minutes. The clock on the screen counts down the time. Under the Ralph M. Brown Act, the board is not allowed to comment on items that are not on the agenda. So we are not ignoring your comments. We just can't respond to any individual comments. The superintendent can refer items to staff who can follow up with you. Ms. Rye, please facilitate public comment.
Of course, we have a visitor comment, David Martesian.
Board President Creason, members of the board.
Can you talk into the microphone just to make sure everyone can hear?
Is that better?
I think so, yeah.
You hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. Good evening, Board President Creason, members of the board, and Superintendent Bassinelli. My name is David Martesian, and I'm coming back a year after I commented to the board about concerns I had about school heat injury and illness prevention plan. A year ago this September, we had, as some of you recall, an incredibly hot triple-digit week that was melting all of us, literally and figuratively, I think. And I wanted to just come tonight and reiterate my concerns about that. To my knowledge, the comprehensive school safety plans do not have any language in them about heat injury illness prevention. And I think that's an oversight that we need to correct. Within those safety plans, we have guidance for fire, shelter in place, flood, wind and tornadoes, chemical spills, explosion, and airplane crash. We live in the Central Valley of California, and we all know that at least at the beginning and the end of the school years, we have days that are in the 90s or encroach into the triple digits. And I really think it's imperative that we consider that and include something like that in those site-specific school safety plans. And I think that's all I have to say for today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I And I believe that concludes public comment. Thank you. We are at item E, consent calendar. Do any board members wish to remove any items from the consent calendar? Ms. Viescaz.
I would like to pull item E10.
Okay. Any others? Ms. Krivchek?
E7, please.
7. Okay, any others?
I would like to pull E1.
You guys are keeping me on my toes tonight. Okay. Any others? So I have E1, 7, and 10. Okay, so is there a motion to approve items E2 through 6, E8, E9, E11, and E12?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Avey. Is there a second?
Second. Whichever. Second.
Seconded by Ms. Viescaz. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that was unanimous. Let's start with Superintendent Fasenelli.
Yes, staff would like to remove discipline number CL 571 from the personnel pages due to the appeal process.
Any comments or questions?
Could you repeat that?
Yeah, could you repeat that, please?
Yes, staff would like to remove discipline number CL 571 from the personnel pages due to the appeal process.
So are we looking for a motion to approve all except for that item? Okay, so is there a motion to approve item number 1 minus CLS 571?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Viescaz. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Avey. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that was unanimous. Next item is E7, pulled by Ms. Krupchak.
I really just wanted to underscore the importance of this item. Mr. Avey and I had the opportunity to have some additional training and information about this. And it really is our application to say yes to federal title money. And it's of huge importance to the district and to obviously to the Title I and 3 and I guess 2 schools. And my elementary school, I was one of the offenders, was coming after me for a few weeks to fill out my income verification form. And I thought, if a board member is able to be guilty of not submitting this income verification form, there are so many other parents and caregivers who are not filling it out. And it's so important for our schools. We are eligible for additional funding if all parents fill out that form. So I just wanted to thank the staff for the hard work that you put into the application. And now that we know all of the requirements and how difficult it is to after we get the money to actually spend the money in the way that it's intended, but also just trying to solicit all of those forms. So for the community who's watching and listening, I just really want to highlight that it's of utmost importance for you to fill out that form. So please submit that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments, questions, Mr. Avey?
Thank you. And for the team that put together the consolidated application, I did want to say, I came in, I looked at the binder, I did review it. So I don't know if anybody's ever done that before, but I did. So somebody looked at all of your work and it was fantastic. So thank you.
Any other comments, questions?
Happy to move the item.
Moved by Ms. Viescaz, or I guess I should say, okay, seconded by Mr. Hernandez. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That was unanimous. Okay, next up, item E10 was pulled by Ms. Viescaz.
I wanted to pull this item just to publicly say thank you to Assembly Member Kevin McCarty and our legislative delegation for ensuring that this money made it into the budget. And this is an example of how the wheels of government can turn like molasses. This effort started 18 months ago. And so I've never been so excited to see an MOU. That's not true. There's a couple that have been exciting, but this one was really exciting to see. I'm super excited to see the improvements at Camp Winters, and I'm also really excited to follow the progress of the career pathways at Encina in our construction trades area. And so this was a long time coming and it was a group effort, and I'm just really excited that it's finally made, the $2 million finally made it back to us after a long legislative process. And so if there aren't any other comments, I would move the item.
Are there any other comments, thoughts, questions? All right, the item was moved by Ms. Viescas. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Krivchek. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that was unanimous. Okay, we are at item G1, summer learning. Ms. Schnipp.
Good evening, Board President Creason, members of the board, Superintendent Bassanelli, and Ms. Cunningham. We're excited to be here tonight to share with you the superintendent's recommendation to review the learning opportunities that were offered this summer. Go to next slide, please. This summer, we focused on 4 areas for our summer school programming for students. We worked to build opportunities that focused on foundational skills, readiness for the next grade level, enrichment activities, and intervention for students needing support. Woven throughout all of these areas, we emphasized the need for high levels of student engagement. Our goal was to reignite curiosity in students and asking how we make learning fun, create opportunities for socialization and relationship building throughout all of our programming K-12. This summer, we served over 8,000 students in a myriad of programs that were built to support student learning and engagement. We were able to tap into many different funding sources, such as title funding, our local control funding formula monies, our expanded learning opportunity grant funds, and elementary and secondary school emergency relief funds. This allowed us to create a rich menu of opportunities for students over the summer. At the elementary level, we're excited to share that we were able to offer many different programs at 27 elementary and PK-8 school sites, serving more than 2,600 students that were funded in a variety of ways. All were focused on building foundational skills, readiness for the next grade level, enrichment opportunities, and/or academic interventions. The building of these programs went through a few phases in order to open doors this summer. In February and March, funding was identified and the recruiting and hiring process began. Also in March, families began to receive information about different program offerings. In April and May, sites began advertising even more programs, some of which were targeted for certain student populations. From May on, sites responsively expanded or shifted program offerings based on enrollment trends or needs. These programs we were able to offer range from the typical math, reading, and bridging to the next grade level type of programs that often come to mind, all the way to some not so typical types of programs such as gardening, engineering, science, sports, and the arts. With these varying funding opportunities, teachers, sites, and departments were able to create summer school programs for students that offered a wide variety of choice around a passion area for them. This resulted in our students being able to benefit from intervention and enrichment activities that make learning fun and engaging. Here in San Juan, we're incredibly fortunate to have many amazing community partners supporting our students and families all year, as well as during our summer months. We were so happy to partner with many different parks and recreation departments, our ever amazing aerospace museum, as well as others. We're so excited to share that we are also able to partner with Camp Winters, and utilizing some of our ELO monies, we're able to offer 120 spots to students across our district to enjoy a free session this summer. The camp was open to incoming 4th through 8th graders. We initially prioritized enrollment in the program to our Title I school sites, and then opened up enrollment to the rest of our schools and all the students meeting the age criteria. We're excited to say we met our cap of 120 student campers, and we're thrilled also to welcome 10 teachers and counselors at the elementary and middle school levels to get the opportunity to engage in typical summer camp activities, swimming in the lake, including the morning polar plunge, kayaking, hiking, archery, disc golf, singing songs around the campfire, and stargazing. Camp Winther's regular summer staff was so excited to get to share Camp Winther's with a new bunch of campers, many of whom would not have had the opportunity to experience Camp Winther's without this partnership. Next up, we have Director Brett Wolf to share the middle and high school opportunities.
For the second year now, we're able to offer a CTE enrichment class for our middle school students. This past summer, we were able to get students into the beautiful broadcast studio at San Juan High School, where they learned how to use drones to take videos, anchor a news broadcast, and upload all of their work to YouTube. At Mariloma High School, where middle school students were able to learn how to take vital signs in the medical assisting class, and students in the cybersecurity enrichment class were able to program robots in addition to other programming activities. At Bella Vista High School, middle school students learned computer programming, and students at Meraki High School were able to film and produce a very short story. Also at the middle school level, we're able to offer enrichment classes across the district, serving over 1,200 students at 6 of our middle schools. Classes range from woodworking to archery to ceramics. Students also had the opportunity to take classes in creative writing and financial math. These classes were offered at Will Rogers, Sylvan, Carnegie, Churchill, Barrett, and Pasteur. At the high school level, we also offered enrichment opportunities for students this past summer. We were fortunate enough to have 562 students take advantage of the 20 different programs that were offered across the district. Everything from advanced placement boot camps, art camp, yearbook camp, music classes, the ROTC team building activities, in addition to several internship opportunities for students in the medical and construction fields. Math Camp, which now is in its 6th year using the current format of having students experience mathematics in a collaborative setting focused on using a growth mindset to engage critical thinking, we're able to get 251 students in grades 1 through 9 to attend a 2.5-week program where students worked on real-life projects that incorporated mathematical concepts that will give a jump start to begin the school year. Each year, we receive very positive feedback, not only from our students and their parents, but also our practitioners who get special training to implement this very unique program. The high school credit recovery program was very busy again this past summer. The seat-based program, which consists of 2 separate 3-week sessions, was held at El Camino due to the work being done at Del Campo. For the seat-based program, we offered busing for students from San Juan through Del Campo, Mariloma, and Encina to our host school, El Camino. As you can see from the chart above, we're able to have a very robust program at El Camino with over 850 students attending the 6-hour per day instructional program. In the independent study program, this year we offered 2 locations to help students get easier access to recover credits using the online learning platform, Apex. On the west end of the district, classes were offered at Mariloma High School, and on the east end of the district, classes were offered at Sunrise Tech Center. This summer, we had students return to pre-COVID testing conditions where students were required to test in person with their teacher. Also, if you look at the number of students enrolled versus the courses completed, it is important to note that we made sure all students had a spot in Apex, but for a variety of reasons, not all students were able to take advantage of this opportunity. In looking at both credit recovery programs, students were able to earn a total of 9,555 credits, which will definitely help students who are at risk of not graduating or of being UC eligible to make their goals. So at this time, I would like to introduce Director Gwen Dellinger from the Student Learning Assistance Program.
Hello. On behalf of my colleague Vanessa Adelson, Director of Special Education, I am presenting this slide related to extended school year. Extended school year, or ESY, is a function of expanded services for students with individualized educational programs, or IEPs. ESY is individualized to help students maintain skills and not lose the progress made toward IEP goals over the summer break. While this program is offered during summer, it differs from summer school as it is related to services with students with disabilities. Student programs are determined by an IEP team. This year, about 700 students attended with classrooms ranging from preschool through secondary. As always, ESY was a fun time for everyone. The Office of Student Learning utilized federal and state supplemental funds to provide summer programs for students entering kindergarten to those beginning their last year as seniors at San Juan Unified. Many of the programs have already been highlighted in the previous slides and included targeted activities to promote academic language, reasoning, and collaboration for over 2,600 scholars. Each site coordinated with the Office of Student Learning to look at data, identify needs, and find engaging ways to make learning fun. Pre-assessments were used to calibrate lessons tailored to student needs. Post-assessment showed an average growth of 20% in academic vocabulary and comprehension. Teacher surveys were overwhelmingly positive. In the next two slides, I will be highlighting two areas that we are most proud of. The first one is a newcomer academy. Welcoming newcomers was held at Mariloma High School. The mission of the academy was connection, community, and confidence. Over 300 students, having been in the United States for less than 2 years, were personally invited to attend, and 250 of those invited actually showed up. Not only did these students earn 5 elective credits, they also expanded their English proficiency and connection to the American public school system. Activities included English language development, using curriculum relevant to navigating San Juan schools, art, music, and sports. The newcomer support team was on hand to provide parent trainings, clear up cultural misunderstandings, fill in on sport teams when needed, mentor, and many other tasks that kept the program running smoothly. Jeffrey Junk did an amazing job as administrator of the program and has already promised to join us again next year. This program will be continuing through Saturday academies throughout the school year. Our second most proud moment of summer school for Office of Student Learning was student interns. This was a record year for the recruitment, hiring, and training and placement of student interns. It was quite a task to place over 250 student interns into all the various programs across the district. This year, we recruited students through an application process, which included a written interest narrative and a letter of recommendation from staff members. Once the students were on board, they spent several hours at an intense training where they learned about how to conduct themselves as professionals, interact and provide support to students, phone management, and daily tasks. At each site and for each program, the praise for student interns was consistently positive. Overwhelmingly, we heard, please make sure that we keep the student interns next year. In addition to what the student interns brought to the table for site programs, the student interns also learned a lot that they can bring into their futures. Here to share her experience as a student intern is Raven Siebels. We are grateful that she has taken time out of her schedule to speak with us tonight. Raven is currently a student at El Camino, and she supported our extended school year program at Ralph Richardson. Here's Miss Raven.
Evening. Oh, can you hear me? Good evening. Okay. This past summer, I've got the opportunity to internship at Ralph Richardson. I've always had a dream of working with kids with disabilities. I chose Ralph Richardson because I've always had a connection with the campus ever since my first grade year. I was introduced to the campus by my mother, who works at the campus. I would go on the county fair field trip with her class every year. This summer, I worked in the deaf and hard of hearing preschool class. I enjoyed doing everything from playing games with the kids to laminating random things in the classroom. Um, everyone at everyone on the campus was opening and welcoming to me. They treated me as if I was a coworker rather than an eighth grade student who just got there. I loved being a student intern because I got to meet so many different kids with so many different backgrounds and abilities. I was able to work on my communication skills, not only with adults, but I also learned how to do a little bit of sign language. I'm so happy that I didn't pass up this opportunity. Teaching kids, teaching kids is a great way to experience. Teaching kids is a great learning experience and brought me some great skills and information. It's rarely about doing something right or wrong. It's about learning from your mistakes and growing. Not only has this opportunity helped me grow as a person, but it's also helped me gain more confidence working with kids. I've never had a real job before, but getting paid while doing something that I truly love is a dream come true. I'm really looking forward to doing this internship next year. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Raven. And she is supposed to be building a float right now. But took the time out of that, her busy
Wow.
schedule to come here. So with that, the team is open for questions.
Thank you so much for that great report. Any comments, questions from the board? Mr. Avey.
Thank you so much for the presentation. I grew up working at summer programs and summer camps and specifically around kids and teens with disabilities. So I know how valuable summer programming is. It really is a time, it's kind of a soft learning time where you can make a lot of progress in a lot of areas. So I'm very supportive. Camp Kinder, one of my daughters went to Camp Kinder one year. It was a fantastic experience. It really helped her get ready for kindergarten when she couldn't go to TK. She was ineligible at that time. It's a great experience. So I know that's a great program. And then Camp Winters, I'm a big summer camp fan. So I'm glad that we're using that in new and exciting ways. The one just question I got from other parents, I came up in the special education community advisory committee, came from the parent that I live with, was timing around signing up for the camps. I think we heard briefly about the timeline and when they were promoted. What I hear from parents is a lot of the summer enrichment, a lot of the summer daycare, a lot of the different programs, you have to sign up in January and February. And so by the time they found out about district programs, they kind of already had to plan things out. And I think that was specifically around the special education students. It was difficult because they had to plan so far in advance and they felt like it was a missed opportunity. So just an opportunity for if we can tighten up the timeline, that may be helpful. Obviously, if funding's identified in February, you probably can't do signups in February. But I think that was the one point of feedback I heard from the community with relation to the summer activities.
Superintendent Bassanelli.
And I think staff might have a little bit of information to share just on registration timing, because I do think that it goes kind of hand in hand with our reporting cycle to parents. Can you elaborate?
So for the Title I summer programs, we've historically aligned our summer programs invitations to parents to be during that conference time.
Can you get closer to the mic, please? Sorry, just YouTube.
So we have teachers personally invite parents and students at that conference time. That's also when we have the data that we need. So that's why that March sort of happens. But I understand as a parent, I understand that there's always a challenge there. So whatever we can do to maybe let parents know, maybe in first trimester, if you're considering that your student might need to go to the summer school, this is when you would be invited to.
Yeah. Ms. Costa.
Thank you for the report. When I looked at this and I saw about 20% of our students participated in summer programs of one type or another. And that doesn't even include the student interns. That's really an amazing number, and it really speaks highly for the quality of the programs. People come back year after year. I hear from parents all of the time how motivating these programs are for their students. When you think about summer learning loss, we are really providing opportunities for students not to have that experience. But I also think that you added some things with Camp Winters, which is so critically important. And I'm glad that it was free so that our kids could actually be involved in the program. And then I too have a special place in my heart for Camp Kinder, even though it's just in going to watch it and see the kids in Camp Kinder. It's such a good program for bridging and helping kids to transition. The credit recovery, fantastic. I think of how many kids benefited from that. And for the special needs families that I have talked with, they are so grateful for the program and grateful to have the services for their kids. So across the board, thank you very much. And thank you to our amazing staffs who provide these kind of programs, and to our student interns who benefit both from their own learning, but also in helping our kids. So thanks a lot.
Mr. Hernandez, there are kind of two. Mr. Hernandez. Yes, guys. Go ahead.
Thank you. I was going to use my comment to talk about the high school credit recovery to Ms. Swift. I'm going to bypass that now because I think Ms. Ravens took the presentation. So I just want to direct my comments to you. And I thank you for to volunteer at Ralph Richardson, which is, that in itself is amazing. So please come back, go get 100 people just like you. And we thank you so much for what you do. And you're amazing. So thank you so much.
Ms. Viescas.
Ditto, everything he just said. But also I don't think I can sign anything, but if you want a job, full term, once you graduate, I'm pretty sure we can accommodate you. So just keep that in mind. This is always home. And thank you for spending your summer the way that you did, and also for your report. It was great to hear directly from you, Raven. And I also just wanted to comment, you did answer one of the questions which I had was I wanted to ensure that our interns were paid. And so I was very glad to hear that. And I'm not surprised, but I just want to echo that I was listening for that and I was glad to hear it. And so in addition to that, I just wanted to comment as well on the newcomers connection and community confidence piece. I love that it continues to be a 2-generation strategy, not just focused on our students, but really supporting the full family. And so thank you for continuing that work. And I love to see that it keeps going and that it's expanding. And I also just want to take the opportunity to express my strongest support for continuing to expand our summer learning opportunities. We certainly keep trending that way, but I want to just make sure that it is known that it has my enthusiastic support to continue enrollment and support of these programs. And I also just want to thank my colleague, Mr. Aby, for his questions around kind of parent engagement and student enrollment, because if it's anything like finding childcare, put me on the 2028 wait list right now. I don't know if you have a sign-up sheet for that yet, but if I could be the first one on that, I appreciate it. Thank you all very much for the work.
Ms. Crochet.
I echo my colleague's statement, but I just am so impressed that I can't not say anything. So thank you for the presentation. Thank you for all the work that goes into it. There were so many items that I was just so pleased to hear about and learn more about, including the newcomer connection. As once a newcomer, I do echo Ms. Vasquez that it's so important to include the parents, and the fact that it's in this threatening or, it's a social environment, and it's maybe it's just easier to access than maybe going into a school system that you don't understand and trying to figure out all the new systems. So it's nice way to introduce them and to really engage our parents and newcomers. So I just thank you so much for having this program and for sharing that with us. And Raven, I'm so impressed with you. Thank you for spending your summer doing that. Thank you for the presentation. And I can tell that you're a deep thinker. Just the way that you phrased your report and your perspective on your experience, the fact that you're thanking us, that you got a chance to do that just speaks volumes to your character. And I just really want to thank you for the work that you did and for you to know that you are so valued and appreciated. And we are absolutely thrilled to have offered this opportunity to you. Thank you for coming tonight. I know you have other things to do, so thank you.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
One more thing, so
Please.
sorry. I did have a question, and this has to do with the high school credit recovery, and I think I know the answer myself, but I do want to ask and hear your perspective. So I noticed that more students fall off with the online or the independent study program than do with the seat-based. And I think we all know why that is, but is there are there some strategies in the works or things that we can do to improve that so we don't have as many students falling away?
I'm actually glad. Oh, I'm glad you asked that. So I don't number, anyhow, you have it on your notes.
Yeah.
So our counselors at the high schools are very proactive. So what they do is they register every student on their caseload that needs to go to summer school. So our initial number of students that we staff for is if every student were to be registered, shows up. Then what happens? So we hire the teachers, they reach out to as many students as they can, and then we get the number of students that you see. So that's why there's such a big drop off from the students that are, anyhow, that's why you see the drop off. And then what happens is, so the students, even if they can't get to the point, so it's a standards base where when they meet standards, they move on to the next lesson. So we have a lot of students who in the summer where they maybe only gotten maybe 60% of the course done, we archive that. And so when they go back to their school site in the fall, then they can restart that class. And so they can continue on and get those credits. So it's not that they don't get the credits then, but they can continue on and then get those credits once they start the school year.
See, okay.
So it's
Glad
not,
I asked.
it's really tough to report the data without it looking like that we're not being successful, but we try to make sure, because if all these students showed up and they show up the first day, which has happened in the past, then we don't have enough staffing. We're trying to hire staffing at the last minute. So we staff very ambitious. We think a lot of students are going to come, and then we kind of do a staffing based on who actually shows up.
I see. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Any other comments, questions? Seeing none. I too, Raven, that was a wonderful report. And every time I hear somebody say that they have a passion working with individuals that have special needs, I mean, just everything in my cup is full, because that is a very special heart that says and feels that way. So that's just amazing. And Ralph Richardson Center has a very special place in my heart. Go Bunnies every day. So that's just lovely. And thank you for spending your evening with us. I know that there's much more fun things to do than hang out with us. One thing that I thought about many things, but one thing that hasn't come up yet is I think about the kids, the seniors that needed to do some credit recovery to earn their diploma that didn't get to walk. And so I just want to throw it out there. I'm assuming they don't get an actual ceremony. I don't know if there's a handoff of a diploma after. I don't know what that looks like, but I would be more than willing to show up for a kid just to hand them their diploma or whatever that looks like. Because they work hard to get there, even though it didn't flow with everybody else. And I would love to celebrate them. So I just want to throw that out there. Okay, so I think that concludes the report. So thank you very much for that wonderful report. We are at item G2, professional learning and innovation. Dr. Slavinsky.
Good evening, President Creason, board members, Superintendent Bassanelli, and Ms. Cunningham. It's my pleasure to introduce this item tonight. As you know, the purpose of this report is to provide the board an update regarding the work and current priorities of the Professional Learning and Curriculum Innovation Department. And I see that something exciting is happening back there. But I will go on and say it's my pleasure to introduce Nicole Kukral, our director of that department, and she will provide a report.
Thank you so much. Good evening. Tonight, I'm pleased to bring the board an update from the Professional Learning and Curriculum Innovation PLI department. I'm excited to share the current work of our department, our priorities for the 2023-2024 school year, and the ways in which we continue to refine our work to ensure that it positively impacts teaching and learning for all learners in our system, both students and staff. I would like to introduce the presentation by providing some background information about the PLI department. As our name implies, we support the professional learning of all adults in the system, including teachers, classified staff, and administrators. As you are already aware, our department also oversees the adoption and support of new instructional materials and new courses. Finally, because our team members specialize in particular content areas, we often provide content knowledge support for various district departments and sites. While our PLI team focuses on several areas of work, the one that I will be focusing on tonight is the work we are doing to support system-wide professional learning in order to improve our students' academic outcomes. Whenever our team plans and designs professional learning, we focus first on all sources of data available to us that indicate staff and student needs. These sources of data include quantitative measures such as CAS, iReady, and text level, but we also highly value the lived experiences of students and staff in classrooms. Collecting survey data and being in classrooms and talking to teachers and students to understand their challenges offers rich sources of data from which to plan the professional learning opportunities that will be the most engaging and the most immediately impactful for students and practitioners. As we engage with practitioners around instructional practices, we facilitate ways for them to feel safe taking risks with new practices, for them to learn from the expertise of their colleagues who always have different and valuable ideas to share, and for them to set goals for themselves about how they want to grow in the classroom or at their sites. All of the work we do is focused on the strategies that have the greatest impact on student learning, and we continually collect feedback from our practitioners to learn more about the strategies that are most effective. To support the professional learning and curriculum in San Juan Unified, our PLI team consists of 5 program specialists who are administrators in the various content areas. Supporting these content teams are our teachers on special assignment, TOSAs, and lead teachers. Currently, we have 7 TOSAs on full-time release to support English language arts, history of social science, instructional technology, math, and science. We also have 2 20% TOSA positions to support secondary physical education and ethnic studies. These 2 practitioners currently teach full-time and support the PLI work outside their school day. Finally, we have 3 elementary lead teachers who are released 3 days per week to support the elementary art, music, and PE specialists. One of the most exciting aspects of the PLI department is the necessity to collaborate with virtually every other district department. You can see here the departments and divisions with which we meet regularly. We're very excited this year in particular about our new partnership with the Family and Community Engagement and Communications teams. And we are also very excited to be meeting jointly with our Special Education Department and Student Support Center team. Our team is also very excited about all the work we have planned for 2023-2024. First and foremost on our mind is our math professional learning work. We had a very successful summer of math professional learning, supporting over 100 elementary teachers in effective mathematics assessment and instruction. We will be supporting these teachers throughout the year as they implement these practices in the classroom, and we will expand this work by offering this learning to more practitioners. We are also partnering with 13 sites whose focus is on math instruction. We are excited to bring you an update on this work in a board report in March. We are also sustaining the momentum in our reading professional learning with continued emphasis on K-2 reading instruction. We are also excited to differentiate professional learning for our upper grades teachers, focusing on vocabulary and comprehension learning in response to what our teachers have been requesting and what our data suggests we should be focusing for our teachers in grades 4 through 8. Also on the forefront of our minds is ensuring the success of California's new ethnic studies graduation requirement. This year's priorities include providing professional learning for all current and potential ethnic studies teachers, writing courses that qualify for this graduation requirement to provide sites flexibility and choice for their master schedule based on student need and staff availability, and collaborating with multiple departments to support district-wide communication about the new graduation requirement. Over the past year, our team has also immersed ourselves in learning around the principles and practices of universal design for learning in an effort to infuse these practices into all of our professional learning. This summer, our team worked in collaboration with multiple departments to host an Inclusive Practices Institute that approximately 100 practitioners attended. And our team is continuing to support multiple sites in using these practices in the classroom. We will share more about this work in the upcoming board presentation on October 10th. Finally, because PLI is also connected to our Center for Teacher Support and our system of professional growth teams, we're working closely with those teams to provide curriculum support for new teachers in an effort to promote retention of our newest members of the profession. We have already started to put our priorities into action, and the response from staff has been incredibly positive. As mentioned earlier, over the summer, over 100 elementary teachers came together to explore assessment and instructional practices for math. Work will continue with this group of teachers throughout the year as they implement the practices in their classroom. In August, our math team facilitated professional learning at multiple sites, even bringing multiple sites together to explore highly effective and engaging math instructional practices. In the image to your right, you can see a group of teachers, instructional assistants, and the principal at Green Oaks exploring mathematical strategies by experiencing them as learners to help them determine the ways in which they can bring these impactful strategies into their classroom. In addition, as I also mentioned earlier, our math team currently has partnerships with 13 sites who will be engaging in a year-long professional learning focus around math. Our work in early reading is still going strong. We have another cohort of over 50 teachers engaged in work grounded in the language essentials for teachers of reading and spelling, letters. Over the past 5 years, approximately 400 elementary teachers have engaged in this professional learning, and we are definitely seeing an implementation of these powerful strategies in the classroom. In addition to the early elementary professional learning around reading instruction, this year we are offering targeted opportunities for our teachers of older students. Currently, we have robust professional learning cohorts at 3 sites, which includes a total of 15 teachers. This is our first year of this work, and based on the success we've experienced with the letters work in the past few years, we expect this to grow significantly in the coming years as we build on the experiences of our practitioners based on their feedback. We are also accelerating our efforts to prepare schools to implement the ethnic studies graduation requirement for our class of 2030. As we move toward full implementation over the next 4 years, we have a comprehensive plan that includes course writing, professional learning, continuous feedback, and clear communication. This year, our focus is to ensure that our teachers are well prepared to teach these courses in a way that aligns with the California adopted ethnic studies model curriculum. The professional learning offered this year is led by 3 current ethnic studies teachers, and almost 30 teachers have committed to this year-long series, including every current ethnic studies teacher in the district and many more who are curious about teaching these courses in the content areas. This team of teachers will also be collaborating to write new courses in a variety of content areas, including English, social science, and the arts that meet this requirement. The first round of courses will be coming to the board in the spring as part of the new course approval process. Currently, 6 of our comprehensive high schools offer ethnic studies, but we are excited to support the implementation of the remaining high schools as they offer both ethnic studies and also other flexible course options. Additionally, as mentioned earlier, a multi-department team collaborated to facilitate a 2-day Institute for Inclusive Practices in the early summer. The first day included work around trauma-informed practices to support the social, emotional well-being of our students. And the second day emphasized the principles of universal design for learning so that our practitioners developed additional tools to provide access to core content for all learners. The planning team has convened to determine ways to extend this learning and provide follow-up opportunities for participants to further support the transfer of these practices to the classroom. 4 additional sites have been working with the professional learning team to explore the idea of universal design for learning more deeply. Finally, we recognize the importance of teacher retention to support the learning of all of our students. One of the ways that we are providing support to new teachers is through our planned curriculum support days. These release days offer new teachers the opportunity to collaborate with grade-alike colleagues and our PLI content support teams to engage in effective lesson and unit planning for their students. We are also working closely with our Center for Teacher Support and our pre-induction facilitator to ensure that we are meeting the specific needs of our new teachers during these support days. True to our department's name, we are always focused on learning and getting better at what we do. This year, we are working on ways to collect more data to truly understand the impact of our professional learning on teacher practice and student learning. For example, we are creating both teacher and student surveys that will allow our participating teachers and students to share their lived experiences from the classroom. We are especially curious about what practices from our professional learning are having the most impact on the teacher and student experience. We have also realized that our work can be very successful when we partner with sites and go to them to facilitate professional learning. And we have so far been very successful this year in engaging many site leadership teams in co-planning professional learning aligned to their site focus. We are excited to see how this work unfolds throughout the school year and get feedback from sites to continually refine our model. One of our team's primary goals this year is to increase our efforts in terms of family and community engagement. In order to do this, we have begun a partnership with our FACE department, meeting with them regularly and collaborating with them to ensure that families are not only able to participate in our adoption process, but also so that we can support families in extending student learning at home. The FACE team has helped us tremendously by connecting us with the FACE Mobile and district-wide events where we can have a presence and share more information about our curriculum adoptions. Because of this collaboration with FACE, our team had a table at the college night at Rio Americano, and we will be participating in the resource fair at the FACE conference on October 7th. Finally, as we deepen our partnerships with schools, our team will also collaborate with site administrators and provide content support for their instructional leadership goals, including helping them transfer what they are learning in their principal meetings to classroom visits. Of course, this work is not without its challenges. We are fortunate to have a creative team and collaborative relationships with other departments to help us address these challenges. One of the primary challenges we've faced in recent years is attendance at professional learning. We collect ongoing feedback to determine what those barriers are so that we can address them. Our primary strategy this year is to go directly to sites to support professional learning by working closely with their site leadership teams to co-design and co-facilitate meaningful learning opportunities for their staff around their site focus. Offering release time for teachers to engage in professional learning is an effective strategy, but in recent years, the limited access to guest teachers has also been a barrier we have experienced to promoting frequent opportunities to learn during the school day. We have been working in collaboration with the Human Resources Department to identify, based on employment and absence data, the appropriate number of release day opportunities throughout the year, and we increase those opportunities when we're able to. Finally, as you may have noticed at the beginning of the presentation, our PLI team is small but mighty. Because of our small size, we are limited to how much professional learning our team is available to facilitate on any given day. However, knowing that we have many talented professionals in our system, our team builds the capacity of practitioners who are interested in facilitating professional learning work so that the work can spread. For example, at our sites, members of leadership teams that are co-facilitating professional learning work with members of PLI, and that allows them to keep the work going even when our team might have limited availability. We look forward to having continued opportunities to share our team's important work with the Board of Education, both directly and through the Curriculum and Standards Committee. We are seeking input from the Curriculum and Standards Committee to determine the updates they would like to receive from our department this year, as that was very well received last year. We will also be providing the board with a math update in the spring, where we will dive more deeply into one of our priority areas and share more details of the work we are doing, as well as our early results. Of course, we will also have our annual opportunities to bring forward new instructional materials and course recommendations in the spring. In addition to our forthcoming board and CNS updates, our team will be monitoring outcomes of professional learning through data collection tools that I mentioned earlier. We will also focus heavily on building upon the early success we've experienced with our math professional learning and expand that work into this school year and future years in order to improve our student outcomes. Thank you so much for your time this evening, and President Creason, I now look forward to responding to questions from the board.
Thank you for your report. Comments, questions from the board? Ms. Kripchet.
I think I'm starting to figure out that what Camp Winters is to Mr. Avey, the letters curriculum is to me. So I just appreciate you highlighting that and the fact that more schools are using it and more teachers are enrolled or engaging in the professional learning around that. So thank you. Thank you for the report. I don't know if this is an aside or if it makes sense to what you do, but I really enjoy your slides. My brain really comprehends the way that you present the information, and I'm sure our teachers benefit from that skill that you have. So I just want to say that I really appreciate it. Keep it coming.
That's very nice. Thank you so much.
I have a question about the engaging, continually refining our work. It's slide 10. And it's all the ways that you engage different partnerships and the data that you use to, form your work. And earlier we were talking about the English learners and that kind of thing. I was wondering if there's maybe through DLAC or ELAC or in a different way, how are we receiving the perspectives and the lived experience of our cultural groups? And I don't know if that's a different discussion, but just a question that occurred to me.
I think it's definitely related to this. As we have been working really hard on our goal of engaging more families in our community this year, we've worked closely with our communications department to develop a communications plan in order to get feedback and input and share updates with various community. And I will tell you that the DLAC committee for sure is on our list this year as a group that we would like to visit at least once, if not more than that, to get their input and make sure that they know how to engage with our department, both for curriculum adoptions, but also for the other work that we do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments, questions? Mr. Avey?
Thank you very much for the presentation. Couple questions. So of the teachers and sites that you engaged, what is the process to select those sites, to select those teachers? How do we go about engaging on that professional learning? Is it voluntary? Do we go to schools that have a need based on test scores? Could you explain that process for me?
Sure, no problem. I'll talk about it in sort of two chunks because inviting individual teachers is a little different than how we engage sites.
Okay.
So in terms of inviting individual teachers, it is voluntary. We do invite them to attend. And so we'll do mass communication through direct email, through principal newsletters, through our district communication tools. But also we offer targeted engagement for some of our teachers that we know are really interested in opportunities. For example, we had 100 teachers attend the math professional learning this summer. And so our math team is offering kind of a part 2 to that. And so they've targeted those invitations to people that attended over the summer. They collected feedback from them about what their next interest areas are so that they can then do some targeted advertising so that we try to build lists of teachers that we know are curious about particular topics and do some more, like I just said, targeted reach out to them. And then when we're engaging sites this year, we tried something new and we created kind of a menu of choices that we could support at schools. And it was kind of like it was a graphic organizer that shared the topic and kind of what might engage a site in that. Like if you're working on this, here's what this might look like for you. And we put that out again in principal communications. And the principals then worked with their site leadership teams because they knew, well, our site really wants to focus on math. Let's look at these few options and see if this is going to work for us. And then they reached out to members of our team and started the planning process in the spring. So again, trying to do more targeted engagement instead of just blanket blasts. We find that we get a lot more interest that way.
Okay. But I don't hear, I guess what I don't hear is we've identified a school that is not performing as well as we want it to. We are going to do an intervention with professional learning. That's not part of it. It's more of people who are kind of enthusiastic and seeking out those resources, whether at the school level or the individual level.
That would be correct. Yes.
I want to elaborate. Sites will self-identify when they go through their own data and do a needs assessment. And they will often, in working in collaboration with the site leadership team and the staff, they will identify the path that they take for professional learning and reach out to the professional learning department, or they might reach out to a different service provider to provide that specific training. But it's based off of the site self-identifying based off of their needs.
And then just a second question. You talk about monitoring outcomes of professional learning using both qualitative and quantitative data sources. Is that something that the department's developing now around that? So in the future, we'll have those data and metrics to track kind of this success of the program or opportunities to learn?
Yes, absolutely. What we find is the big data that we get, CASP and iReady text level, doesn't give us enough information to be able to make nimble changes on the ground based on the experiences that our practitioners are having and what they're reporting as immediately valuable to their students. So, we've realized that that's a gap in our own understanding. So that's our goal. One of our goals this year is to develop some systems that track some data a little bit more granularly that we can then respond to much more quickly than CASP or something like that.
Then just one last comment. Just as you're going through that process, that may be something where if you engage with curriculum and standards, they may be able to help develop some of those data points of, even if it's not something that's as relevant to you, maybe it's something within the community that they'd be interested in learning and may see as a data point. So just an idea on a process and somebody you may want to check in with might be the committee.
Yeah, thank you so much. They're always very helpful for us.
Ms. Costa.
As the board liaison to curriculum and standards, I would just really like to compliment you and the rest of the team for the way you have built capacity for our community leaders. It really has been an interesting process watching this last year to see them develop a real understanding of curriculum and a real understanding of the entire process that we go through for selection of curriculum and what is and isn't curriculum. So thank you very much to you and to the team. It really has made a difference.
Thank you so much.
Any other comments, thoughts, questions? Seeing none, thank you so much for the report.
Thank you.
We are at item G3, sufficiency of textbooks and instructional materials. Ms. Schnapp.
Good evening, President Creason, members of the board, Superintendent Baffnelli, and Ms. Cunningham. The superintendent is recommending that the board hold a public hearing and adopt resolution 4100, stating that each pupil in each school in the district has sufficient textbooks and instructional materials in each subject that are consistent with the content and cycles of the curriculum framework adopted by the state board.
Very good. I declare the topic of sufficiency of textbooks and instructional materials a public hearing, and it is now open for public comment. We do not have any speaker cards on this item. There being no comments, I declare the public hearing closed. Do any board members have any questions or comments? Seeing none, this is an action. Is there, or an action item, is there a motion to adopt resolution number 4100 stating that each pupil in each school in the district has sufficient textbooks and instructional materials in each subject that are consistent with the content and cycles of the curriculum framework adopted by the state board? Moved by Mr. Hernandez. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Costa. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that was unanimous. Thank you. We are at item G4, conveyance of a permanent easement at Casa Roble Fundamental High School. Mr. Arps.
Good evening, President Creason, board members, Superintendent Bassnelli, Ms. Cunningham. Tonight, the superintendent is recommending that the board call a public hearing to solicit public comments on the adoption of resolution number 4098, declaring a covenant of the permanent easement at Casa Roble Fundamental High School to the Citrus Heights Water District.
I declare the topic of conveying a permanent easement at Casa Roble Fundamental High School to the Citrus Heights Water District, a public hearing, and it is now open for public comment. We do not have any speaker cards on this item. I declare this public hearing closed. Do any board members have questions or comments? Seeing none, this is an action item. Is there a motion to adopt resolution number 4098?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Costa. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Krovchek. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that was unanimous. We're at item H, board reports. Are there any board reports? Ms. Costa?
I have had the total joy of making the first round of visits to all of the schools in my trustee area. And thanks to a kind invitation to Mr. Hernandez, I've visited two in his area as well. It's been such a pleasure to talk with principals and visit classrooms. And I've seen highly engaged students working in a variety of settings, from one-on-one to small group to pairs to a whole class instruction. And what I have watched is very skilled teachers at all levels, high school, middle, and elementary, and all levels of classroom instruction in terms of student need, create skillful lessons, ask questions, provide follow-up and feedback to students, and watch the understanding on kids' faces. And what it has done for me is just reinforce how proud I am to be a member of San Juan Unified. To see the students, to see the staff, it is a total joy. So now I'm going to be visiting schools in other areas, and I've promised the area 2 principals that I'll be back in January to do a repeat visit, and again in the spring, but I'll visit other schools as well. So thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Costa. Any others? Mr. Hernandez.
Thank you. I just want to, as we heard tonight from several of our high school reports, that our district is kind of unique in the sense when it comes to homecoming week, many of our schools do halls. And which is, if you try to explain halls to somebody who doesn't understand, you almost have to see it to believe it. And this past week, 2 of us were able to, along with our superintendent, were able to judge the Del Campo halls. And we brought along Dr. Toto and Miss Gladys to be part of that judging experience. And so it's just really great for us to be able to get out during these homecoming weeks, because we see our students engaged and the pride that they take in their schools, and it's truly amazing what they come up with. So that's my report.
Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. Mr. Avey?
So I too was able to attend halls rather indirectly. I actually went to the college night over at Rio Americano, and I brought my kids and they kind of want to run around. And so as we were looking around, I saw the students in the halls, and I actually ran into, I think it was the student body president that's presented here. And she ran over and she's like, "I invited you and you came." I'm like, "Yes, we did." It was fantastic. I love halls. I love the community that you see out there with folks doing that, and college night. Fantastic experience, great production by the district, a ton of schools. Love seeing the buses out front and the fact that we allow people from other schools to take a bus to get to that college night. So it's not limited to folks who are over by Rio. So good job on that. Outside of my district work, I did have a chance to go on the SAC Metro Chambers study trip to Toronto. which didn't have a lot of direct application to education. But there was a really interesting conversation in Toronto about the devaluation and privatization of public infrastructure. Basically, it was like public spaces that started to become more and more private, and the very intentional process they went through to open those spaces back up to the public, which I just thought was a really interesting conversation. It really took what they talk about, a public-private partnership, and reducing the friction to make sure that you could open those spaces back up. And I thought that was relevant in our role as one of the largest property owners of public spaces in our region, and just that perspective that they took in Toronto. So I found it very interesting.
Thank you, Mr. Avey. Any other shares? Okay, I will just quickly say, I haven't been sharing my travels much during board reports because I've just been all over the place, and I know it's the end of the night and I'm the last one to talk. So it's like, hurry up, lady, let's get out of here. But I do just want to just do a shout out. I'm not going to name all the names now, but a lot of schools have hosted me, and I really, really appreciate it. I was able to hit schools that I haven't been able to hit yet. You know, when our campuses had to close, it really kind of put a cramp in my visit style. And so I needed to make up some lost time. So I've been spending a lot of time at Ms. Kravchuk's area, hitting schools I hadn't hit up yet. And I've been doing some second rounds as well. There's some schools that I just kind of gravitated to over the years. You just go like 20 times for some reason because they're wonderful. But some I haven't hit up yet, and learning a whole lot, you know, about our wonderful, beautiful skill community. Also had the opportunity to attend the HBCU college fair at El Camino High School with Superintendent Bassinelli and many others. It was beautiful. It was everything. The kids, so many kids, and same thing, kids from other schools were bussed in. So everyone has an opportunity to participate. Very well represented by recruiters and colleges. There's scholarships that I know that are provided on the spot. So it was a really beautiful thing. Also was invited to judge Encina's, they decorated their doors, I believe, for the first time for colleges, representing colleges. And so I had the opportunity to hang out and judge and just talk to folks. And it was so exciting. It was a wonderful experience. It was fun to hang out. So I think that concludes my report. Oh, Ms. Viescas, did I just skip over?
No, you didn't.
Oh,
It's
okay.
actually in response to your report, and I was thinking of jumping in after Ms. Costa as well. Because one, I think we all do a fantastic job of getting around to sites, but just something that kept occurring to me, and this might not be the right forum, but if there was a way to just kind of track which area one's schools have had a member or have not, it's gonna be a while till that trustee area is filled just because of a luck of a draw. And I just want to make sure that they're covered, and I can't commit to covering all of them, but I think there's been probably good coverage. And so just a thought for colleagues, like I'm not saying like we must all step up, but maybe even if we just got kind of an accounting of maybe who hasn't had a visit in a while, just so we make sure that
Getting a lot of
get all the
nods.
love and assurance as well. So I figured I just wanted to raise it and didn't know.
Yeah, it's a
when to
great
raise it.
idea.
So
It's a great idea because we want to make sure that the area feels included. I know I spend a lot of time in schools in that area, but I can't guarantee I've hit all of them up. So I think that's a great idea. And there's a lot of head shaking. Awesome. All right. Any other thoughts, comments, questions? Okay. We are on to item I, future agenda. Do any board members want to add a future agenda item? Seeing none, we are adjourned.